Welcome back, everyone. We've got yet another matchup here today. Now, I am joined by a little bit of a newbie here. It's his first game on stream, but he's been around for a minute. What's going on, Iro? How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good myself. Had a sweep in the first matchup, but at least it was a little bit of an interesting sweep. It was still close games. But I am hoping that this one is not a sweep, so we can actually get some good content. We've got the Gryphons going up against Orbit here, and I've got a feeling this is gonna be, if not a good one, then at least an interesting one.
I agree. Uh, I'm going to start off with the rosters here as we have a little bit of a change with we have Rogue subbing up for the Gryphons, making it Monk, Rogue, and Jtron against DJD, Spork, and Scraps. These both seem like pretty solid rosters. I cannot lie. Who do you think is going to take the cake on this one, Mir?
It's kind of hard to say with the sub up of Rogue. He is a prospect player. He is a goated prospect in the Rogue we all know and love. But I'm not sure how he's gonna fare in Challenger here. It could throw a wrench in things a little bit for this team here. But with Owen on there, I mean, Owen was one of the better players in Challenger last season. Always a solid contender. On the other side of things, though, with DJD, Spork, and Scraps. Spork been around for a while. Doesn't his first season back in a while, but him and DJD both been around for a while, and they're gonna have the experience. So it's tough to say. I think I'd have to lean towards Orbit here just because of the prospect sub up. But what are your thoughts? Who do you think is gonna take this one, Iro?
I'm gonna have to agree with that, and especially since overall Orbit has only won a single game to their two losses against Gryphons, I feel like they're going to even out the score here.
Yeah, and they might do just that. But we'll have to wait and see as we. I thought we were gonna get underway. But it looks like we are waiting on something. All right, looks like we might be waiting on a name change.
Ooh.
But while we wait for that, I guess we can talk a little bit more about this. So Owen, I believe, was on the Griffins last season as well, if I'm not incorrect, which I definitely could be. A lot of team changes in this season as well. But Spork's return season here, he was a rival player before, so that could give a little bit even more of an advantage to Orbit here.
Well, you never know because a lot of the rival players that have gotten bumped down are still playing against each other. So I don't want to say that the MMR change made a huge difference as we get underway here, but I feel like this will still be closer than we think.
And it just might be. What you said is 100% true. As a player who did drop from Rival last season, actually, into the Challenger League, it turned out that even though you were dropping from Rival, you were facing a significant amount of other players as a huge shot already going to the top left corner. Spork trying to follow it up. Can't quite get there. And already the pressure mounting from Orbit, looking to start things off hot here. They do not want to give Gryphons even a chance to get settled under these conditions. But here comes Rogue, the prospect player himself, the GOAT, trying to make his impact known. Can't quite get that shot on target, but Gryphons fighting back a little bit here as Scraps trying to clear that one out. Two players up as Jtron and Rogue both kind of going for the same ball, but neither of them will be able to make anything happen quite yet. It's Owen looking to the corner here, looking to get a pass out, and actually it does get past one. That was a bit of an unfortunate miss. Won't lead to anything just yet as we're seeing a bit of chaos in these early seconds. We usually see this with stream games. Sometimes it takes a minute for players to settle the nerves a little bit. We are seeing quite a few double commits coming out as Jtron almost got the pass over to Rogue. Wasn't quite there though. Rogue himself trying to take it all the way through. Won't be able to make anything happen just yet. And so far, it does seem like we're seeing a little bit of nerves, players settling in, and a few mistakes being made, but nothing capitalized on just yet here, Iro.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on the nerves, but one thing that I feel like I hope it doesn't really catch off the Gryphons, but Rogue actually, I don't know if he feels like he has a lot to prove as a lower ranked player in this lobby, but it looks like he's keeping up very well. No incredible mistakes compared to the other two. He's doing his thing, making sure that his team makes plays, and he's just trying to fit in.
And so far, no huge plays made just yet. We are still very slow to the start of this game. 2 minutes gone by. Both teams just in a stalemate currently. Jtron trying to get this one over the top. But it'll be sent away. Huge clear by Spork. Owen will be able to get it past one. But Spork there once again. He's been looking fast so far. Looking to try and take advantage of every loose ball. So here comes DJD. Looks for the flip reset. Gets it beneath one. But Jtron remaining solid on the goal line. Be able to send that one out. Jtron here now on the reverse, trying to look for the goal. Owen will be there for the follow-up, and it's Gryphons actually who strike first.
Yeah, this was a great, I don't want to say too great play by the Gryphons. I feel like it was more on orbit of a play, but it was great by them to be there whenever they needed to be.
That's what it's all about, capitalizing on those mistakes when they come through. Orbit was looking pretty good on defense for the majority of the first half of this game, but all it took was that one mistake. The open net was allowed, and Owen's never going to miss those. Give him that ball, he's going to hit 999 times out of 1,000. And now it is the Gryphons, perhaps the underdogs in this matchup, who take the first lead. Owen getting it out to Jtron, tries to take the shot, but Spork there to block it away. Try to take control here, and will manage to 50 through. Has a little bit of space to work with, but Owen already trying to cut him off. That's a huge boost steal. Spork able to take the 100 in the corner, but it might not matter as Rogue coming through looking for the redirect. Does manage to get on target. The bump coming through on the goal line, but Gryphons not able to take advantage of that just yet. They might be able to take advantage of this, though. DJD barely managing to get that touch as Gryphons pressure just non-stop right now. Jtron can't make the shot. But it is the Gryphons in the driver's seat, and I gotta say, they are really bringing it to orbit right now.
It's a real shock. Orbit has not been able to get anything going, really, other than that little own goal. The biggest issue that I've been seeing right now is they just haven't been looking for each other. They can easily have the ball around the field if they could just find each other. But that's a nice little shot by Owen. Nice little pass from himself, actually, just to dink it in.
That was, sometimes the ceiling is the best passer. I like that goal explosion too with the jigsaw. Pretty nice, and a solid play from Owen. He just manages to get over the top of Spork, and I mean, so far, Gryphons have just been playing relatively safe, not making many mistakes, and they've had their chances due to Orbit fumbling around a little bit. So here might come another one. Jtron looking for the flick. The demo in front. The flick doesn't quite have enough heat on it. They're just trying to play keep away here. Although that's a little bit awkward. Jtron will manage to get to that one. And Rogue just ready on the backboard, ready for anything that Orbit can throw at them. But are they ready for this? This one off the top of the backboard, but the follow-up not there. It's Rogue once again, making it there first. And Gryphons continue to retain control. It's a huge demo from Scraps, trying to open up some space, but the ball is sent right back, and that'll give Gryphons plenty of time consolidate, plenty of time to get back in the game. Now Orbit need to go fast if they want to come back in game number one here.
Yeah, Orbit just needs to stop being so scared at some plays. Like, that was perfect if he could just get the ball a little bit lower. That's all he needed, but they just need to get the aggression going. I feel like once they get the aggression going, they're going to keep up their momentum. Oh, it was a nice little dunk, but almost. Only counts with hand shoes and horde grenades. Wait,
it will be the Gryphons. Oh, they almost got that last second goal to get a third one, but won't quite get there. And, Orbit, even though they didn't get any goals, they had a decent amount of pressure, managing to take 5 shots there. And we did see even right off the bat, they were nailing that crossbar consecutive times, just not able to get that shooting accuracy under wraps. And due to that, they weren't able to score anything. What do we think? Is this just a warm-up game? Are Orbit about to come out and completely switch it up in game number 2?
I hope this is a warm-up game. Like I said, they gotta stop being so scared of everything. They keep backing off. They only send one person forward for any play. They need at least 2 to take on 3 people on defense.
Yeah, and I did like that they were going for some demos towards the end there. Scraps especially, I did see. Trying to open up space, but they just weren't able to capitalize on anything that they were trying to make work for them. And at the end of the day, it will be the 2-goal deficit that gets the better of them. Let's see if they can bring it back in game number 2 here. So right off the kickoff, Jtron might have an open net. Couldn't quite find the read. A little bit of danger there for Orbit, but they do manage to survive through it. Owen getting this ball to the side, as this one will be sent right back into Orbit's half. They have to try and take control here. Try and get this ball out of Gryphon's possession and try and make some plays of their own. It's all going to start with getting that one. That's across to DJD. I think he might have had a shot there, actually, but he elected to go for what looked like a pass instead, and I just don't know if that was the correct play.
It was really close. Right now, this back and forth situation, it's not too good for either team. It doesn't look like either team can get anything going, and whenever they do, they immediately fumble it.
And so far, it's been the Gryphons who have done less fumbling, managing to get 2 nice goals of their own, and there might be another one. Jtron this time coming through with the redirect from all the way out of the pitch. A nice goal to start off game 2.
Just the read off of the side wall and the capability to beat everybody else on the field to get it perfectly away from the defenders. Beautiful.
And a nice little top shelf shot there. Gryphons picking right back up where they left off in game number 1. And they are really looking, I mean, I gotta say, as a team, they are just looking more composed. This might be another opportunity. Owen had the shot, but he wasn't quite able to record that one. And I mean, Rogue, I gotta say, Rogue does not look out of place at all here. He absolutely looks like he belongs in this lobby.
He, like I said in game 1, he feels like he has something to prove, and he is definitely proving himself here. I genuinely would have said that he was another challenger player if I didn't know who he was beforehand. He just fits in so well.
He is fitting in quite well so far. We'll have to see if he can maintain it throughout the series, but it seems like his baseline, at least, is excellent and very conducive to success for the Gryphons. We're looking at another lead. That one off the post. Scraps can't quite get the follow-up. He'll get blocked away. And Orbit trying to maintain control here as Spork in the corner. It's a touch to the middle, but no Orbit players ready for that. I think DJD could have gone to that one, but instead he hesitates. He tries to get a fake out. Now Orbit trying to look for more creative ways to score, but I mean, Iro, I don't want to say that's the wrong way to look at creative ways to score, but it seems like these plays would be fine if the standard way of scoring was working out for Orbit. They're trying to go for the creative plays when they can't even get the basics down.
They just need to either slow themselves down on defense to start up a play, or they just need to go full force. They need to start getting bumps and demos in. Every time that they go for a shot, they have 3 people in the net. Just like that, and they just can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's one thing to hit the ball directly at one defender in net, but if you hit it at 2, it's probably not going to work out so well. Once again, it just seems like this accuracy for Orbit is not quite on point now. And with half of game 2 gone, looking at going down 2-0, they have to try and get something quickly. Spork just completely missing a fairly free touch. Won't be able to get any momentum off of that one. There's a little bit of an overcommit, but Jtron, once again, in the midfield, just keeping on this pressure, and that's really what the Gryphons have been so good at in this series. The pre-jump from Rogue from a mile out. I can't believe what we're seeing here as the Gryphons just holding strong, not letting Orbit get anything of their own. Even Jtron getting a demo on DJD there, ensuring that this offensive attack does not come for anything fruitful from Orbit's side of things. Rogue getting this one out. DJD will pop it up, but once again, it's Jtron there first. That's off the backboard. No follow-up this time, but it's just the fact that the Gryphons seem to be able to get the ball back on offense whenever they want in this series.
They're playing so confident right now. Their issue right here, their only issue that they have is that they don't turn this confidence into cockiness. All they need to do is just stay composed while being confident at the same time, and they could have this game. Or the series, let alone.
You have to feel for Orbit there. That one, once again, going off of the post, it was just a hair away from being the first goal, but instead it's turned around, and Owen is the one who gets hit another goal in this series.
It all started out with the bump from Spork onto Scraps, and then it just left DJD in an awkward position, and he ended up missing the ball. leaving a wide open net.
And man, it's really not that Orbit hasn't had their opportunities. They have had plenty. They just haven't been able to take advantage of any of them. Now 30 seconds left in game 2. It's looking very likely that we are headed to a game 3 where Gryphons are up 2-0 and we're facing yet another sweep. Orbit has to try to change something up here. 17 seconds left. It's the Gryphons with possession. You have to get this ball off of them. You have to just go at this point. There's not really much else you could do. Owen getting it to the backboard, and Scraps can't make the touch, does manage to recover. But it looks like it will be a Gryphons victory as we head to the final seconds. And I know we talked about getting those demos, trying to open up some space, but it seems like the fundamental problem for Orbit is just that they can't shoot the ball properly, and I'm not really sure how you fix that.
You just need to take this 60 seconds right here, slow yourself down, breathe, reset yourself mentally, reset as a team. All you need to do is just breathe. Easily get back right into the game. Don't try to overthink it. That's all Orbit can do right now.
Once you start hitting the post so much, once you start missing your shots, not placing them correctly, it can really start to build up, and it can take a toll on the mental quite quickly. That might be what we're seeing from Orbit here, as we saw a few uncharacteristic misses from them as well, not just in shooting, but in general. It seems like they have to fortify mentally if they want to find their way back into the series. Now staring down the barrel of a sweep. They have to win 3 in a row if they want to take this series, but how you always start is just one game at a time. It's not impossible by any stretch of the imagination. If they can get this shooting under control, then who knows what could happen. Going to head into game number 3 here. This Orbit will look to get just anything on the board. They have yet to score a goal. They have to start with that. Just get one on the board, see where you can go from there, and that's not how you do it. Rogue, the prospect of Legends, comes through and gets one on the board himself.
Graps was caught lacking. He turned the wrong way. Rogue saw it, hit it bottom left. He couldn't get back to it in time.
And I will say, even though that was definitely a defensive misplay, I absolutely love how fast Rogue turned around for that ball, as this one off the side, Rogue able to make the touch there. And like I was saying, that fast cut from him, I feel like was very indicative that he is making a lot of the right decisions in this series, and that has been a huge factor for the Gryphons and their success so far. They just have to keep it up for 4 more minutes, and they've got this one in the bag. Bork here trying to take a shot. Can't get too much power. He's struggling with the boost total. And it will be Gryphons' possession once again. Owen trying to take this one downfield. Jatron there connecting for the pass. Won't result in a goal, but it's even more good pressure, good momentum. It's DJD looking for a pass there, but it looked like Spork just didn't really see the play. He didn't really believe in the outcome if he could stay there. Maybe low on boost, but even with no boost, that was a really good setup there. And it goes back to kind of what we've been talking about, and just feels like the Gryphons are playing a much better team-oriented game here.
Orbit can't get anything going just together. They keep getting the shots off, but it's unfortunately off the post. They keep looking for each other, but it's just slightly past each other.
My.
Nice shot from Rogue. Rogue wants to take this game. He wants this game to be his.
Who is this guy? He comes from nowhere, from the midfield, gets the top shelf shot. And I mean, what can we even say there, Iro? Just a beautiful play. And, you know, you said he had a lot to prove in the beginning. I think by now we could say, I think he's proved himself pretty well.
100%. He has shown that he fits in, and he deserves to be challenger.
Can we get a make Rogue challenger chant going? That's something spectacular. As, 3 minutes left. There's still time for Orbit. We cannot count them out of this series just yet, but the Gryphons are looking so good. And Orbit, with how they've not been able to find the back of the net at all, you really have to wonder how they're going to pull themselves out of this pit. Now, not even just facing down the barrel of a sweep, but a perfect sweep is that. I mean, I don't like to call it too early ever, but how well the Gryphons are looking, seems like that might be the direction we're heading. But Still time left, and that's a huge demo. This could be the first. And just as I casters curse it into existence, Sport comes through, and finally, Orbit gets something on the board.
That demo was crucial. The second that they start bringing in demos, the second they start scoring. That's beautiful. They just need to keep up the pressure with that. Let Gryphons overcommit, and they have a nice, smooth, clean sail goal.
And it's not much, but it could be enough to try and give Orbit some kind of momentum. Now that they know it is possible for us to score goals in this series. Now that you know that, you can try to work forward, try to get even more going, try to get just at least one game win in this series. You're only one goal away from equalizing. Just try to press that issue and try to get it going. Here comes Scraps off the backboard, looking for the backboard read, but Owen too fast to that one. They won't be able to get anything off of that one, as Jtron taking control here. Trying to get a flick, gets it past one, gets the bump as well. Scraps in a little bit of an awkward position, but he should have time to clear this one out. Gets it at least to the midfield, and I mean, Orbit are still in this one, at least this game here, Iroh. I mean, the demo was good. They just have to keep doing that trick, try to activate that as their game plan if they want to find a way back in this game.
I mean, maybe if that's the only thing that's worked so far. They could maybe try to get an equalizer and see what they can do to, try to work up a new game plan to see if they can kind of confuse the Gryphons. But as of right now, the only thing that can go for them is just get everybody off the field.
Yeah, if there's no defenders, then you don't have to place your shots at all, and you can just roll the ball in. But with that said, here comes another one. Scraps can't get the follow-up. It was so close, but he couldn't quite make the touch happen. It feels like it's very indicative of what's been happening the whole series, where Orbit gets really good setups and just can't quite finish off the plays. 30 seconds left now. Not much time left at all, but that's a huge shot. Jtron can't get there, and Orbit finally claw their way back. It took so much, but they do manage to equalize.
This was just a beautiful beat by Scraps. All he had to do was just bang the ball as hard as he could. There was nobody back in net besides the one player who was very awkward.
That's a nice play there. You have to try to work with this momentum now. That's 2 goals that they didn't have in this series has gone thus far. Plenty of time left to put something else together. It's Jtron popping this one up. Spork trying to send this one back, trying to press the issue. And, Spork's someone who I really am looking at to try and make more of an issue for the Gryphons roster, as that's a huge play. The touch over Spork. I almost manifested him succeeding on that shot. It wasn't quite enough. And the ball will hit the ground as overtime has concluded. And I mean, Iroh, I'm just happy we managed to make it to overtime and give Orbit at least a chance in this one game.
I know. To be fair, if we want to take a little bit of stats, so far in this series, Gryphons have yet to score after Orbit. If you want to look at it that way, it could give them a chance.
Oh my goodness. You are 100% correct about that. We don't know how they'll react now that they've been scored on. But so far, looking solid, although we are seeing some double commits. Haven't really seen much of that from the Gryphons since Game 1 began, and they looked a little bit nervous. Now that they're not quite on the ropes just yet, but they do have a little bit more pressure on them. We'll have to see how they try to adapt. And so far, it's looking all right. Owen trying to stay back, stay calm here, gets a touch to the side. Rogue will try to take control of an air dribble, but he's not really air dribbling it to somewhere I like, personally. Does manage to get all the way across. This one gets 50'd out. Owen going to stay on this one backwards. Gets a backwards challenge, and that's a huge one. But luckily for Orbit, this time Scraps is back, and he is ready to save that one away. But can he save this one away? Rogue coming through. Owen looking for a play here up the sidewall, but he'll get demoed. And demo is how they scored their first goal. If Orbit could get another one, this could just be a game victory. It'll be sent away once again, but so far it looks like Orbit is fighting back more in this overtime than ever before in this series.
This is their last breath. They need to do everything that they can to make sure that they're not out. They need this reverse sweep right here. They want it. They want to show that they are not done yet. They still have more.
And they certainly are not done just yet. Looking to get anything scrapped, setting this one up for Spork. That one won't quite be able to come through as Owen trying to pass it off the sidewall. Jtron with a huge shot. That's to the top right, but this time it is saved. Graps getting it out, getting the 50. And just staying alive. That's all they need to do for those seconds. They do manage to. And now on the other side of things, this is awkward. Owen setting it up, but if they can get this shot off, it just might be enough. Jtron manages to get the save, but it's not enough. DJD comes through with the finish, and Orbit somehow managed to battle their way into a game win.
I'm just gonna say it. Off of the demo, they get the goal. My stats are still correct. Gryphons are yet to score after Orbit.
Your stats are 100% correct indeed, and it seems like your game plan is going to perfection as well. Orbit, when they get those demos, when they open up the net and they don't have to place their shots, they're doing very well. Managing to come back. I mean, I gotta say, when they went down 2-0 initially against the Gryphons, I didn't really see them making the comeback, but they managed to prove me wrong, and they managed to prove that they can take at least one game here. Now, do they have what it takes to complete a reverse sweep here, Iro?
Guess the only way to find out is by watching.
You know what? You're 100% correct on that. I think they have what it takes. It's gonna be a difficult road, most definitely, with how well the Gryphons have been playing. But we did see that once Orbit managed to equalize, once Orbit managed to equalize, the Gryphons managed to they started to get a little shaky. Actually, they seemed to double commit a little bit more often. They didn't look as confident as they were playing when they were up by a good amount of goals, as this one is very sketchy, and it's going to be 15 in. Another defensive nightmare for Orbit, and you just can't be letting up goals like that.
Oh, that was such an unfortunate touch. All he needed was a nice backflip, not a soft touch, and he would have had that ball out. Unfortunately, it looked like he panicked a little too hard and just gave it right to him.
And that's not how you wanted to start out game number 4, most certainly if you were Orbit. But they came back from a lead, a deficit in the last one. Perhaps they can do it again. They will most certainly fight in trying to. Owen waiting for this one to settle down, gets it past one, and just to stay with control, trying to flick it over. Jtron there, that's an unfortunate dunk, and I think, wait, did Jtron read that actually? What happened here?
Pretty sure he read that off the ceiling. He got the dunk, and then he just jumped and read it, put it in.
That happened so fast, I didn't even realize Jtron got there. That was actually an insane read. A very fast touch off the ceiling, and he's in the perfect spot. And, well, I gotta say, it looks like the Gryphons have found their confidence again.
They're back to trying to destroy this Orbit team, and they just want to rip them apart piece by piece just so they have no faith in coming back. All Orbit has to do is stay composed, keep working as a team, and they got this. But how long can they hold off to get that next goal with how hot Gryphons have been lately?
It's a question I'm wondering as well, because there is still plenty of time left in this one. They came back with less time in the last game. Might take a little bit more effort this time, as Owen coming through with air dribble. Spork manages to send it away. More solo plays coming out from the Gryphons, but this time they are dealt with. Jtron going to try to get something going here. Gets a flick past one. Owen there with a shot. Just barely sent away by Scraps. Manages to meet him on the goal line and prevent it from turning into anything catastrophic. It's Jtron going for this one once again. Just trying to keep the pressure going. That's a bit of an unfortunate touch from Gryphons, but won't really matter too much as they manage to keep this ball in the corner and eventually will get the clear out. Awkward ball, but Rogue, the prospect player that I'm starting to forget is even prospect because he looks like he belongs so much, is another one. Oh, the theme of the post hits, the crossbar hits just continues for Orbit. Although this time it won't. Hold up, DJD manages to break through, and even with the defender there, he gets it right under him.
Soft touch right below him. That's all he needed. Again, they let the Gryphon team scramble themselves. They kept their composure, waited for them to mess themselves up. They took advantage immediately. That's exactly what you need to do to come back in this series.
Absolutely. And a great play to just bring it back a little bit. This one, a little bit dangerous for the Gryphons as well. And now we saw it. This is looking like the same script as game number 2, or game number 3 so far. Is this one a little bit awkward? Orbit might have a chance here to make something happen. DJD getting a flick, trying to get it past, but Jtron, stalwart on the goal line. As ever in this series, he was able to get through. Rogue can't quite find the demo there. That's a huge team pinch. It will go high. Jtron will be able to get it out as well. The ball keeps getting sent over this backboard. And this one, a little bit awkward, but DJD wasn't in the right spot. Spork is, and that one almost sent through. And it looks like if nothing else, Orbit is starting to get more pressure than they have the entire series.
Orbit looks like they're ready. They're starting to feel themselves now. They want that game 5. They want to see Champions Field. They got to put the ball on target. That's their only issue right now. The number 1 defender worldwide, also known as the Post, has just been blocking them out.
Yeah, that post can be a real nuisance, as it definitely has been for Orbit, but hold up here. Spork with a crucial boost steal there, going to try and starve out the opposition. Can't quite get the follow-up challenge, but will allow DJD to come through. Gets a high shot. This one was on target, but Rogue manages to slap it away. And Owen with the miss here. This one going to go over the top. There's no follow-up, though, and Jtron has just been clinical with these backboard reads. And the whole series not allowing anything to come past. Orbit still trying to press the issue. Scraps sending this one, but it will go high over the backboard. This could be a shot opportunity as Scraps barely making a touch there. And it will be Rogue looking for the solo play. Can't find it. They're trading blows right now. Neither team able to score in the last couple minutes of this series. But it won't really matter if Orbit can't get anything going. The Gryphons just have to hold on, and now with 45 seconds left, Orbit are the ones who really have to start trying to push as hard as they possibly can here, Iro.
Orbit has nothing left to lose here. It's okay if you have nobody back, because if you get scored on, you're already down. There's no point in trying to play super passive. You need to see that ball in the back of the net, no matter what it takes.
They're trying to do just that, but Owen back just in time. Spork would have had a free net there. Owen was just 1 second slower. But he will not be as he air dribbles all the way across. Rogue getting the touch as well. And now with almost no time left, DJD looking for something. He can't quite follow this one, but Spork is there, and the shot is good. 8 seconds on the clock, and Orbit, making us sweat, will manage to equalize in the closing seconds.
The perfect touch. Just barely ahead of Owen, and he could not get the save. They just need to hold off for at least these 8 seconds or see if they can try to score so they don't have to go to overtime.
This was the point where last game Gryphons started to get a little bit nervous. We'll see if it continues. They might have something here. No one there for the follow-up. They'll opt to let it go into overtime. We saw how the last overtime went, the only overtime of the series so far, but we have yet to see how this one goes. Rogue up for this one quickly, but it looked like he ran out of boost. Jtron can't make the touch. Owen gets demoed for his troubles. This one just needs to go on target. It's rolling so slowly, but I don't think it is. That was so close for Orbit. They could have been tied in the series if that was a little bit faster on target. They won't be able to make it happen this time. Spork coming through, trying to find the touch. Will only go as far as Rogue, but that's still centered. That one, once again, a little bit awkward. Almost happened, but it won't go through this time. Orbit hunting for demos, trying to throw a wrench into the equation, trying to get the Gryphons to panic. Well, instead, it's Orbit who are panicking a little bit. Sport can't make the touch. There's a double commit, but this one might just drop in, and it is going to drop in. DJD and Orbit managed to clutch up once again, and they are sending us to game number 5.
I'm at a loss of words. It looked like an overcommit on Orbit, but it was an overcommit on Gryphons. What the heck?
I don't even know what to say at that point. It looks like a questionable play, but you know, if it works, it works. Orbit throwing 2 players at the ball. Everyone always tells you to not double commit, but sometimes it just might be the right play if you want to win the game. And that time, it definitely was. The defense couldn't get back fast enough, and it's hard to blame the Gryphons for not being prepared for that. I don't think anyone was expecting the trajectory of that one to go in so quickly. But now we're headed into game 5, and Our original thoughts were that Orbit would probably take this one. Do you think do you think they're gonna pull off the reverse sweep here? I mean, they have been going down and then just barely managing to come back and get these games, but they've still been doing it. They've still been getting the win.
I'm gonna say this. Orbit, I feel like they wanted to see Champions Field for a reason. I feel like they wanted to make a show. And that's exactly what we're gonna have
Oh
right
no.
here. Oh, almost took a kickoff goal.
And if Orbit managed to score first, I mean, that's not something we've even seen in the entire series. They have yet to score a first goal when there is less than 2 goals scored against them. But this is game 5, and everything changes when everything is on the line. Whoever wins this one takes home the series. Doesn't matter what happened in the previous ones. Rogue getting a nice dunk out here. Will look for the read, trying to send it center. Jtron with the follow-up, gets it off the corner. This is an awkward bounce. Owen could be there fast, and he is there fast. There's no follow-up just yet. Rogue will try to send this one through. Fork sending this over. But it's just going to go back. Trying to repeat the success of the last pinch they had, but it's difficult to do as this pinch, Jtron trying to get it centered quite quickly. It kind of works against him as ball sent back into Orbit possession. That's an awkward touch, but Spork can't make the read. He brushes it a little bit. It seems like both teams don't want to lose this one. They are trying to play a little bit conservatively here. I'm honestly not really sure who this playstyle favors.
I'm not quite sure about playing conservative, to be honest. I've seen both teams going for a lot of demos, as we just saw that double demo a few seconds ago. And they really want the other team off the field. They want an easy win here, especially Gryphons. They just want to do whatever they can to not get reverse swept.
Yeah, getting reverse swept feels like almost the only thing worse than actually getting swept. To come so close to victory and then have to play so much Rocket League just to lose at the end is not somewhere you want to be. And the Gryphons, Rogue, that's a little bit awkward there. Okay, he does manage just to get the double touch and get it out, but hold up, it's sent right over, and Scraps there for the double. The defense falling apart all of a sudden for the Gryphons, and Orbit will take advantage.
This is something new. This is the first time that Orbit has scored first in any of the 5 games. Could this mean that this changes the entire outcome? Well, I hope. I'll be honest. I'm rooting for the reverse sweep.
I mean,
I'm ready for it to happen.
It's hard to not root for the reverse sweep. I'm someone who always loves to root for the underdogs in the series or the season. And Orbit definitely starting out this one. You did not think that they were going to even be able to take it this far with how well the Gryphons were playing and how unfortunate, we'll say, the shooting was. But hold up, Spork just running away. There's no one home. He comes knocking on the door and just breaks it down. Spork running away with this one.
Gryphons just screwed themselves over again with the overcommit. The Orbit just has been taking advantage of their overcommits, and that's all they've had to do. If they keep overcommitting like this, I'm sorry, Gryphons, but you're going to get reverse swept. You gotta at least have one person back.
And now it's starting to seem almost inevitable as still half the game left, but the Gryphons have not looked like the same team that we've seen previously in the series. Like you said, these overcommits are killing them. They're making it so difficult for them to get anything going when their plays don't work out. Now Owen we see having to rush back. Luckily he does have all day, but even then, with no one around, he's still kind of panicking. He looks like he doesn't know how to proceed. This is a nice double touch attempt, but he can't quite finish. Hit the ball just a little bit too low for the follow-up to be good. And now it's the Gryphons going down 0-2. We've seen Orbit manage to come back from these, but we haven't seen the Gryphons really deal with the deficit at all. They've always been able to at least take the lead early. And now they're put in the position where they have to do this, or else the reverse sweep is inevitable. Spork trying to get something out here. This is a little bit awkward. There's a huge shot coming through, and Owen does fight back in Game 5, bringing it within 1, so Gryphons put one on the board.
The Gryphons are definitely going to have to try to fight for this one. They may be able to pick it back up after that little momentum goal, but Orbit, they're just taking advantage of everything. Gryphons are still overcommitting on so much. I'm surprised that it's this close right now.
Wait. Oh my goodness, I thought that one might just sneak in under the bar. But it seems like, I mean, that last play from Orbit definitely was not what you want to see out of them. It looked reminiscent of some mistakes they made earlier in the series. The Gryphons were able to capitalize. You just have to hope for Orbit's sake that they managed to put those mistakes to bed for the rest of the game. It's just one more minute now that they have to hold on. They might be able to get another. They won't, as it's sent away by Owen and DJD. And Jtron now trying to get something going. And Spork, what are you doing? What? 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 Why did he? Why did he do that?
I know what you're doing, Spork. You want some entertainment. You want to go to overtime in Game 5. Ah! What a content kind of man.
You know, he did it for the vine. I don't really know why he did that. You know, sometimes you have a little bit of spasm, and that's gonna be an open net. DJD can get back. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have to wrap up these mistakes. These are not conducive to a good game of Rocket League here. They're conducive for an exciting one. As this one just going to float in, and Scraps manages to bring it back. Orbit do take the lead back.
The mistakes. I honestly think that own goal was on purpose to mess up the Gryphons. It discombobulated their brains. They don't know what's going on anymore, and Orbit's gonna use that to their advantage.
Well, I'm gonna toot my own horn a little bit here, as I did predict this would not necessarily be the highest quality game, but an interesting one. And I think it has lived up to that so far. Not exactly sure what we're witnessing, but now the Gryphons, they're back against the wall. Only 15 seconds left, and they are down. Spork gonna put in what might be the dagger, and I don't even know how we got to this point, but Orbit are about to reverse sweep the Gryphons.
Oh my goodness. With this scoreline, including the own goal, I'm pretty sure that this makes the, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this makes the goals throughout the series even now.
I think you might be right on that front, as Rogue had an opportunity to keep the hopes of the Gryphons alive, but he couldn't quite get there. He tried to make it happen, but at the end of the day, I mean, even with what I thought was a pretty good performance by the Gryphons, it wasn't quite enough once Orbit managed to wake up. I I mean, I don't even know what to say. They would go down so often. They would get put in these horrible positions, but they always managed to claw back. They always managed to get that one more goal that they needed. And at the end of the day, congratulations to Orbit. You managed to take it home, and you managed to get the reverse sweep.
You said that you didn't know exactly what to say. I'm pretty sure I do. Give him a round of applause. Well done. That was a lot closer than I feel like it should have been for most of the series, but it definitely made it a good series. I'm win or lose for either team. I'm pretty sure. Besides the unfortunate reverse sweep, I'm pretty sure that both teams can go happy about this one.
Yeah, I think if nothing else, you gotta be glad you played the series. It's never fun to get reverse swept, but or swept, excuse me. But you know, it was still a good series overall. Good looks from both teams. At the end of the day, Orbit just a little bit more resilient, and they managed to claw back from the depths of being down 0-2. Once again, congratulations to them, and big shout out to Rogue, actually, not only for playing extremely well, subbing up in the Challenger League, but also for the subscription. That's going to be 20 months for him, subscribing at tier 2, saying ooh woo right back at your Rogue, and thank you for the subscription. But since we are falling behind just a little bit on the schedule, we are going to go to a short break here before we come back and head into the Titan League, where the Bananas at 1 and 2 are taking on Pinnacle, who so far, with Mad Max leading the way, are undefeated. That should be another banger. I can't promise it'll be as content filled as this series was, but I'm sure it'll be a good one. And thanks once again. Always a pleasure. It was a pleasure casting with you as well, Iro. I see bright things in your casting future. And yeah, we're going to go to a short break, and we will catch you guys right after that. Stick around and take care.